You and I are about to play D&D together. That's right, this isn't just another YouTube video lecture. It's an adventure, because playing D&D is the best way to understand what this game is like and why it's so fun. I'm gonna be your dungeon master, guiding you through this little choose your own adventure tutorial so you can actively experience this game even as a total beginner. And it's easy. All you have to do is follow along and make some choices when prompted, skipping to the timestamps in the description or by scrolling along the play bar to see what happens next. By the end, you'll understand the basics of D&D and have experienced your first adventure. And when you're done, I encourage you to check out what might have happened if you tried different options, both for fun and to lock in what you've learned, and because YouTube really hates it if people skip parts of a video, so that might be why no one has ever done this before. But I've had this idea for a long time, so I really hope you enjoy it and then share it with anyone you know who's curious about D&D. Because I'm Bob, this is where we learn how to have more fun playing role-playing games together, and for this tutorial, I made this simple character for you. But don't worry about what all the numbers mean. I'll walk you through those when we need them. All you need to do right now is choose the first name that comes to mind and maybe think about what your character looks like and their general personality. In a future video, we'll cover the steps to make your very own customized and complete D&D character. For now, here we go. You're walking through a dense forest. The air is cold, orange evening sunlight filters through the trees when suddenly you notice a faint rustling sound and sniveling from something in the brush just a stone's throw ahead of you. What do? Now, in normal D&D, you can try anything. That's the beauty of it. But for this tutorial, let's stick to 4 common options. 1, take a moment to examine it further. 2, sneak up to it or around it. 3, announce yourself and talk to it. Or 4, attack it. So pick an option and then go to the corresponding timestamp in the description or along the play bar. Some elevator music here, maybe. You've chosen option 1. Take a moment to examine it further. Good choice. Gathering information and asking the Game Master questions is smart, fun, and the easiest way to paint the scene together. So let's just say you pause, peering at it, and then step a bit closer for a clearer view. No need to roll here. When you describe simple actions like that without an inherent risk, your character just does it, and the GM describes the result. In this case, you see this sniveling little humanoid creature covered in scales with a dog-like snout. It's smaller than you, but possibly dangerous to a lone adventurer, and it looks like it's been using a rusty dagger to dig up worms and then place them in a sack of dirt. However, you also notice that the worm bag has a dull but probably valuable ruby sticking out of the dirt. What do you do next? You've chosen option 2, sneak up to it or around it. Stealth is a great idea when you're unsure how dangerous something is or if you know it's dangerous. But sneaking has risks. You might be noticed, so let's roll for it. Normally, you'd make the roll, but I'll roll for you in this tutorial using the 20-sided die, aka the D20, and then adding your character's dexterity stat for being nimble and agile. Now, the GM doesn't have to tell you the target number for any roll, but I like to reveal that info so the player knows the stakes. And you need to reach or exceed 15 to successfully sneak by this creature in the brush. But oh no, it's a natural 1, the worst possible roll. So perhaps just as you step forward, a twig snaps loudly underfoot, and this creature turns around, a squat, reptilian humanoid with a canine snout clutching a rusty dagger. What do? I don't know how to look at the camera during this part, but like I said, this is new territory, people. You've chosen option 3, announce yourself and talk to it. Excellent. Dialogue is a fun approach whether you're looking for new quests, haggling to buy equipment, or talking your way through a sticky situation, and it's the easiest way to express your own character's personality. So normally, you would either paraphrase what your character says or speak as your character, maybe even with a different accent for fun. But in this tutorial, I'll assume you say something like, "Hello there," and introduce yourself calmly but boldly. You're an adventurer after all. And then, this creature from the brush, a squat, sniveling, reptilian humanoid with a canine snout and clutching a rusty dagger, snarls angrily back at you. "Ugh! You're trying to steal my worms, aren't you? Worm thief! I'm gonna tell everyone you're a dirty worm thief," spitting your name back at you. What do you do next? You've chosen option 4, attack it. To the point, in D&D, much of the rules are about combat, and attacking almost always requires a roll to see if you hit. Normally, you'd make the roll, but I'll do it here using the 20-sided die, or D20, and adding your character's strength stat for physical might. And since this is an attack, I'll also roll the damage die for your weapon, which is a club that deals a D4 plus your strength. Lastly, for attack rolls, the GM usually does not tell you the target number right away, but I like to reveal that since the players will find out anyway, and you need to reach or exceed 12 to successfully attack this creature. Okay, you got 12. That's just enough to hit it. You stride right up and bring your club down hard, and you deal 3 points of damage, which gets subtracted from the creature's hit points. And now you see this furious little scaly humanoid with a dog-like snout and a grimy dagger in its hand. It growls at you. "Ah, you dirty worm thief!" flailing its blade at you. Same type of attack roll we just made, but it only gets a 9 to hit, which is below your character's armor class, so you take no damage. You narrowly dodge out of the way as the blade just scratches at your clothing. Back to you. What do? You've chosen option 5, try to reason with it. Very good. Bargaining can be an incredibly useful approach, and it creates awesome opportunities for role-playing. Normally, you'd paraphrase what your character says or speak in character, maybe with a fun voice. But in this tutorial, I'll assume you try to calm this creature, perhaps offering it some food or giving it a coin in exchange for a handful of worms. Now, in some cases, the right offer is all you need to bargain with another creature, no roll required. But in this case, with the creature already riled up, you'll need to roll. Normally, you would make this roll, but I'll do it in this tutorial using the 20-sided die, or D20, and adding your character's charisma stat for their force of personality. Charisma, can't even talk, which unfortunately is negative for this character as well. You can't be great at everything. So this would be the perfect time for a fellow adventurer to step in. Also, the GM may not reveal the target number for the roll, but I like to keep that in the open so everyone's on the same page. And you need to reach or exceed 18 to successfully appease this angry little monster. Oof, but you got an 8. So the creature spends its whole turn barking and screaming, "Worm thief! Worm thief forever!" What do? You've chosen option 6. Attack. Enough is enough. The D&D rules are mostly combat anyway, and you usually make an attack roll to see if you successfully damage the target. For this tutorial though, I will roll for you using the 20-sided die, or D20, and adding your character's strength stat for physical might. And I'll roll the damage die for your character's weapon, a club, which deals a D4 plus your strength on a successful hit. In combat, the GM doesn't typically reveal the target number, but I often do because the players will find out anyway, and you need to reach or exceed 12 to successfully damage this creature. Whoa, a natural 20, the best result, and in combat, a critical hit that deals an extra D4 of damage, and you easily deplete its hit points, knocking out this angry little monster with your own rich description. And now you can choose to take all of its stuff or choose to bandage it up and bring this new friend back to town or go wherever the road takes you. Now, skip to the conclusion section of this video. You've chosen option 7, leave this little freak behind. Not exactly a retreat, but sometimes retreat is the smartest choice for keeping your character alive, even if it means missing out on some treasure. So you leave this reptilian thing to its business and continue your adventure wherever the road takes you. Congratulations on completing perhaps your first D&D adventure. But remember that normally the story is only limited by your imagination, what your fellow players find fun, and what the game master deems reasonable. With that in mind, you now understand D&D and fantasy role-playing games. You're pretty much ready to play or even run your own game. And if you like, you can check out one of the next videos in this series where we'll break down all the basic rules you just had fun learning. But once again, you have a choice. Click this video on your screen for the basics of Dungeons & Dragons, or click this one for the basics of a game that is extremely similar to D&D almost in every way because it's based on D&D, but its rules are just more simple. You'll have fun either way. Thanks to my generous patrons for making this video possible, and keep building.